Welcome to In These Strange Times, a series featuring Tulsans in conversation about the individual and collective changes we're all experiencing in 2020 and beyond. I'm your host, Alexander Taman, and this episode is called Quarantine Creativity. Well, thank you all for joining us. Why don't we just go around and introduce ourselves, tell us a little bit about who you are and the type of art and creativity you vibe with. Why don't we start with you, Bebe?
I'm Bebe. I like to make music, and so I make my own beats. I sit at home and, just chill, maybe light a J, and just, vibe and just see what's coming from me at that time, how I'm feeling, because to me, music is therapy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it just helps me get all those emotions out that maybe I couldn't get out at the time and stuff like that. And so even when it comes to writing the lyrics, like I do a lot of love songs and things like that, but still other things can come out, and that's how I, try to be creative and things like that.
Nice. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Schlinnie B, and I do comedy music. So I'm like a wild, crazy person that has to get her antics out in music.
Right on.
So I got a couple projects going through there, but yeah, that's what I do.
Right on.
I'm Laziz. I'm more of a multimedia artist.
Okay.
Do a little bit of everything, here and there.
Yeah.
I consider myself more of like an ideas artist, if that's a thing.
Okay.
Because if I have an idea, it depends on the medium that it is, and then I just do it.
Yeah.
So,
Right on.
kind of a little bit here and there.
So, creativity, we're all like kindred spirits here. How do you normally approach your work? And feel free to jump in, get in where you fit in. I'll just leave it at that. Keep it open-ended so we can flow.
I feel like if I'm feeling sad or really loopy, I call my comedy partner, Casey.
Okay.
And I'm like, let's make something. I don't know what to do, but we should just get together. We like to roller skate. It's
Yeah.
kind of incorporated in our stuff.
Yeah.
So usually we'll go roller skating, and then maybe we'll make a song from that.
Yeah, we gotta chill for real.
Yeah, right? Okay, yeah, I would love that.
Yeah. What about you, Bebe? How do you normally
Same. I mean, one day I'll be super mad. I just get angry sometimes, and so I'm like, I need to go work
Yeah.
on some music. Otherwise, it's just gonna come out. At other times, I don't want it to come out.
Yeah,
and
that's
things
real.
like that.
That's
so
really real.
You gotta get that creativity out there for real.
Yeah, and art is definitely super cathartic.
Yes, it is.
Laziz, what about you, bro?
So true. For me, it's just whenever the ideas hit,
Yeah.
honestly, it's it hits. If I have the time at the moment,
Yeah.
I just do it. If I don't, I have a little notebook where I write all the ideas down.
Yeah.
And I just go back to them. And some of the best stuff that I've done, it was just so random.
Yeah.
It was just at the moment, something was all right, take the paint and, start, spraying it or sprinkling it. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I did it. And, it looked amazing. So
Yeah.
it's just whenever the ideas hit, really.
Right on. So I'm assuming those are under relatively normal circumstances, pre-COVID, basically.
Yeah.
So then once our lives were completely flipped upside down, can y'all talk a little bit about what that experience was like? Maybe when it got real and when things kind of changed, because I know it happened at different moments for everybody, and then how that kind of impacted your process.
At first, I was like, oh great, every day I can work on music.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God, this is my art. And then I'm slowly I guess tiring myself out, and so it's been harder for me to create songs during quarantine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this I should be on it like that? But it's been a little
Kind of
depressing.
made you feel what for?
Right,
A little
yeah.
bit? Yeah.
And then I didn't want to just make stupid stuff every day. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, come on, you can do this. And
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Man.
That's real. That's really real. What about you, Laziz?
For me, it's really hasn't changed a lot because I'm more like, when I think of ideas, it's more concept, you know, conceptual art. So I just need the flow of information.
Yeah.
And, you know, staying at home, I think, was really good for me because I was able to slow down, first of all, with life.
Yeah.
Just get my things together and really hone in on the things that I was interested in. So there was the good and the bad, you know, but I think it was really good in this fast-paced world that we live in to have that, you know, almost like slow down.
Yeah.
And just all of us to be able to go back and figure out what we truly care about and, you know, just spend time with ourselves, getting to know ourselves better, which I think it's super important for us as artists.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit on a lot of really great points that I would love to explore further with all of you. One being like that abrupt kind of solitude, which isn't necessarily always like a major pivot, like as you brought up. Like I, you know, tend to do a lot of work by myself as well. So like that just kind of also gave me a lot of time to just, you know, kind of do the things. But you also spoke to like the need to be around people to not only just like socialize, but even like collaborate, right? And so as artists, like creative collaboration is just like, a lot of times that's the secret sauce, you know, like that's what it does. So like how has that, like, how have you guys managed, you know, in that space and navigating all that?
Well, like stand-up, you know, me and my friend Casey, we did stand-up for 4 years, and then when that shut down, like we had this idea called Queso Queens, and we're a musical like comedy group, and then when stand-up, like initially we had a big, like we're gonna do a launch party and everything, but then COVID happened and we're like, okay, well stand-up's out of the game and we can't do a lot of stuff in person anymore. So then we're like, well, maybe we'll focus on the digital content and kind of focus on kind of building our brand and stuff. So it was kind of like our Queso Queen stuff kind of adapted to COVID, and then we just really worked with whatever the universe gave us. Like initially when we shot our music video, we were gonna have like a bunch of stand-up comedians in it. But once COVID hit, we're like, I guess it's just us, you know? And so, but really, I mean, COVID has kind of taught us how to like really be adapting, and that our art is also more for ourselves than anything else, you know? It's like at the end of the day, like we want people to see it and share it with people, but it's really just an avenue for us to be our weird ass selves. You know?
That's very true. What about you, Bebe?
Man, I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I would most definitely agree with you when saying it's for ourselves. Like I'll listen to my song on repeat and just be satisfied. Like nobody has to hear this.
And you did that, you know, you worked hard to create
I worked so hard on this song, and I'm like, oh, it's a banger. Nobody needs to hear I know it's a banger.
You can hang out to it.
No, for real. And I'm like, I don't need other people, but at the same time, I do need other people. Like when those people come over, my other artist friends, I'm just so inspired. I'm like, here, I'll make you a new beat right now, just cause. You know, and something, but I do need those people, and those interactions, not having those interactions has been hard and stuff like that. So
that's real.
It's like, it's ups and downs. It's real.
What about you though, Alex?
Ooh.
Because I know you do a lot of art, and like you collaborate with a lot of people. And I really want to hear your perspective on it.
Well, there was, there was a lot of pivoting, right? It was kind of like a slow drip, you know what I mean? Because like, what is this? Like circa mid-February, early March, I'm a transplant, right? So my immediate family is up in Michigan, and things got a lot more serious, a lot quicker there, and they responded quicker. So my mom was kind of telling me things that like 2 weeks later were happening like here. So that was just kind of like a weird thing to just kind of process and then try to, I guess, navigate with. Because as I'm sure you all can relate, like all of these like shows and exhibitions, and well, first it was like postponed. It's like, we're gonna see if we can revisit this in a month or within whatever window won't like entirely jack up the calendar, but then it became really clear that like, yeah, this is kind of a wash. So I wrestled with the idea that like I needed to use this time to create the next masterpiece or do like something like
Artistic.
exactly
Yeah,
like let me be
Yeah.
an artist right quick. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
survey said that was not what was necessary for me, and I was already like on a pretty like good like trajectory. So a lot of it was just like just kind of ride this out and take care of you
Yeah.
right in the process. I learned a lot more about how to sustain myself, not only as an artist but as a person through a lot of this, and a lot of that has been rooted in self-care and all the
Yeah.
things that help
Yeah.
me show up as like the best version of myself to whatever I'm doing.
That's good. I mean, that's what you want. I
Yeah,
mean, it's all
yeah.
about self-care, especially right now.
And I think sometimes as artists, you can kind of forget about that a little bit,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing live shows,
Yeah.
or, you know, you're out in
Yeah.
the nightlife and you're just wearing yourself out, and you do kind of forget that you need to spend a little bit of time with yourself too, you know?
Yeah, because it's like the people, and I know, like, as we've already kind of touched on, like so much of the art is about you, and it's about like me expressing something or getting something out of your system, right? But at the same time, people love to see it and love to
Yeah.
engage with it and experience it. So there is like that relationship. How do you guys, what has your experience been in terms of your communities, right? And how the communities that we are a part of need us as artists, right? We're essential. It's our responsibility to kind of take it all in, synthesize it, and reflect, you know, what's going on. How has that manifested in your work in these strange times?
That's real.
Oh man, that's a good
Well,
one.
It's weird, like in stand-up, it feels like it's kind of divided them into two groups, where it's like there's people who aren't doing stand-up shows right now because, you know, of their valid concerns, and then there's other people who want to continue doing shows. They're doing them socially distanced
Yeah.
with masks, you know, they're taking the precautions. But so it's been crazy. It definitely wasn't expected to kind of see the comedy community kind of go into two different ways, but at the same time, it's like, myself, I can't condemn either one, because it's like, you know, you might feel like you need to stay home, but this person might feel like they need to see people, they need to do something.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
that's
that's
real.
kind of what happened there.
That's real.
Yeah.
You want to get out of the house.
Yeah.
I mean, you're stuck in the house all day, and so I can feel that, you know, especially with performance. You want to see a live performance, and so you got the same people that want to stay home and, you know, want to be safe, and then the same people like, they just don't give a
Yeah.
But I get that, because
Yeah.
I mean, I want to
Isolation can be bad for you as well. you know?
Right, no,
Yeah,
for real.
that's true, especially when it's like out of your control.
Yeah.
And oof, yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's step away from our creative hats and like talk about our personhood. Like, how are you taking care of you? Since we just spoke to it, you know, we needing to sustain ourselves and things like that. Like, how are you actively facilitating that?
For me, I know the gym is like, you know, my place to get myself together, you know, recover, and
Yeah.
just not think about all the problems that I have, you know, going on at the time. I can go out, block the 2 hours in the morning while everyone is still sleeping, so no one bothers me.
Yeah.
Just go, have a nice workout. And then what I started doing is at night, almost like at 11, midnight sometimes, I started going for a run. And that just seems so peaceful. And I think that's really been helping me just to, you know, reflect on what has happened throughout the day and what do I feel good about, you know, what are the things that went wrong or the way that I didn't want them to go.
Yeah.
And just like reflecting and still knowing, getting to the point that, all right, like at the end, it was a good day. Like, I'm grateful that I'm here. You know, everything might have not gone perfectly, but I'm grateful, and I know that I'm moving, I'm growing, and I just go to bed with this peace
Yeah.
inside of me that I just can't, you know, put in words, because it's just so peaceful, and I just feel really good about it. So those are the two ways that really have been helping me. Also, I have some people that I talk to whenever, you know, things hit the fan, so that's been really helping as well. But yeah, workout and physical activity, I
Right
think,
on.
is
Yeah.
number one for me.
I can definitely relate. What about you?
Yeah, roller skating is the physical activity I like to do. I like to go take over some tennis courts that some people probably don't always enjoy. I'm all about that vibe creation. I'm creating different vibes in the house. I've got like 10 different lights, you know, like do I want like a bar vibe in the house
Yes.
or do I want like a relaxing vibe? We got incense, we got different kinds of music, you know. I'm buying house plants. I'm going to Southwoods. I'm like, what's up? Which plants do I need? You know, I'm becoming a plant mom.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
no, that's real.
Like, both me and my husband were in stand-up comedy before this, and so now we're just like going straight into adulthood and just like buying couches and stuff, you know?
That's where it's at.
Yeah, but it's good because I think too you forget that you also have to kind of set up your space for like productivity, like that.
Yes.
And like for me and creativity, I have to have different spaces. So like I've got a place for my piano where it's got, you know, different things that kind of inspire me around there.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just trying to eat well and, you know, smoke weed and eat food.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I've been actually buying up plants as well.
Yeah, me too.
Ever since quarantine started. I know.
You're
I
like
was-
taking care of this little living thing. I'm naming them. I'm having
Yes.
conversations. I'm like, I love you, little plant.
That's
That's
so
real.
funny.
That's really right.
I know, yeah. I started buying plants, naming every single one of them. And in the morning, I have like a routine. I wake up, so I get some water, you know, go to the bathroom, and then the next thing right after that is just like, I need to water my
Yeah.
plants, you
Yeah.
know? So
You
it
guys
just
sound like
feels so nice.
great
Yes.
plant parents. How are we filling our cups? Right? On an emotional, like, level. Because you mentioned, like, getting that love.
Right.
And that's really real.
Yes.
Right? Especially, you know, when we're isolated, alone together, you know, but we're relational and social like beings, right? So we need all that.
Yeah.
So like what's like the support situation look like? Because I've noticed in a great way, like people in my like circle and space have gotten a lot more neighborly and just community oriented because we are kind of all in this together. And it's like, well, shit, like you might as well, you know, hang with your friends virtually or socially distant or however, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
just kind of making sure that those needs get met. Like,
Yeah.
how are y'all handling that?
I make it a point to call my parents
Yeah.
and just talk to them and check on them and see how they're doing. Sometimes those conversations really help me.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
same. I be calling my mom, my dad, my sister. I call each one of them so they don't feel left out because
Yeah.
they will. They all live in the same house. But yeah, being able to just check in with your parents and just like the one, because my sister is immunocompromised and then my parents, you know, there's some concerns. So it's always good. Like right now, everything's still been good. They've been quarantined and stuff. So it's nice to just hear their voices. They're doing okay because, you know, anxiety with everything going on, you can worry about people, and if you're not like contacting them, you know, your mind can get
Yeah.
away with those thoughts. So family is definitely the number
Yeah.
one.
That's real.
For me too, it's been family and friends, you know, to discuss different ideas with.
Yeah.
It's been harder, you know, to start working on something and collaborating on different projects, but I think even, you know, just having conversations, you know, calling up that friend that you have and talking about art and, you know,
Yeah.
what you've been thinking about.
So what have we learned? Like, what have you learned about yourself or about your craft, about the world around you, you know, in this time? I know, like, me personally, I've learned self-care is like super, super essential, right? And I have to do like absolutely everything in my power because it is exclusively in my power to like do what I need to do for me to be like healthy and whole and, you know, available. It's all connected. So what have you all learned about, you know, yourselves and your art in this process?
I learned that I love going outside. Like
Yeah.
I gotta take those daily breaks just to sit on the porch and soak in that sun. It's like vital for me. I need to I feel like I'm a plant. You
Yeah,
know?
no,
And I'm
really.
like, all right, son, come on, do
Yeah.
your job or something. And then I'll go work on some music, and then I'll take another break outside because it's great. And I take the cats outside. They're like, ooh, yay, outside time. I'm like, come on, kitties, let's gotta go inside. It's great.
Yeah, I feel like balance has been the biggest thing because before this, stand-up was life, going to mics every night, shows all the time, and just learning that, you know, especially when you're doing something where you kind of feel like you have to hustle to get success, you kind of start to put yourself in a cycle where you're just wearing yourself out, you're ignoring that self-care stuff.
Yeah.
And both me and my husband were both stand-up comedians, so, you know, our lives were just consumed. So now it feels like, you know, we can still do these things and still pursue them, but in a much more balanced way that, you know, everything is a little bit more enjoyable because there's that balance. And yeah, that's probably what I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, like you said, Alex, just putting yourself first and, you know, making sure that you're doing well, that you're taking care of yourself, and really that you're in a healthy place, because I think that's when you're fair towards, you know, the art that you produce, and it's really good and it's authentic, and you can only take care of others, you know, or take care of other things really after you take care of yourself first. So I think that was like the biggest thing that I've learned. Yeah, it's been a challenge, but, you know, I'm learning, and it's great. Like, I just feel so fulfilled when I do that. So yeah, I think that's super important for us as artists.
Loving and compassionate towards yourself and forgiving yourself if you need that time. Like, if you're like, I just can't create today, you know, like, all right, I guess it's just a sit in the sun day, you know?
That's real though.
Yeah.
Like, listening to yourself and being like, yo, like, because you can't force it, you know?
Right.
Everybody like can spot the inauthentic like from a mile away. Yeah. So like, what's been the biggest challenge then on the other side of like the growth and, you know, like the beauty? What's helped you manifest that growth? You know, what's really challenged and pushed you in this? We'll switch it up. We'll start with Laziz because he's coming with these answers.
So yeah, for me, man, the biggest challenge. It's interesting because I think there were a lot of like small challenges. I think being compassionate towards yourself, you know, when you do screw up or when something else comes up, and just the things don't happen the way you wanted, or, you know, you don't end up creating the piece that you wanted, or so I think just being compassionate and loving and understanding that it's okay, it's all right. You know, this is life. Like, it's not all perfect, but learning to enjoy that process of like, all right, hey, I might not be creating today, but it's still a great day. And yeah, just like enjoying that learning curve, or like, you know, life really and its ups and downs. And I think that's so interesting because it's contradicting, you know, when things go bad, and just say it's okay. Like, you know, it's still a good day, I'm still grateful to be where I'm at, and I'm still going to produce great work. Maybe it's not today, but I know it's in me, and I'll continue tomorrow if today wasn't a great day. So yeah, I think that was just like the biggest lesson to hone in, and the biggest challenge, because it is a long process, you know, to start not only loving yourself and your art and accepting yourself, you know, but start enjoying the bad things. Like, as contradicting as that sounds.
Being grateful for what you still have, even if it's a really crap day.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because every day is a new day.
Exactly.
You know, like, and I just, through that process, I started understanding that, hey, like, when something goes bad, it doesn't make sense for me to like think about that, you know, or like reflect on it. because it doesn't do me any good. You know, if something goes wrong, like, and I'm thinking about it past that, I'm only hurting myself.
Yeah, just ruminating and
Right, and
spiral,
sometimes
yeah.
I would get, like, that would get me into such a rut
Yeah.
that it would be so hard to get out of.
Yeah.
And I learned, okay, when something goes bad, as quick as I can, I just forget it, or I try to forget about it.
Yeah. You're
And
just
I
like
try to just
accept,
like move on.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because I noticed, like, hey, it doesn't do me any good. It's just hurting me. And like, if it gets me to that rut, like, it can be weeks or months before I get out of it.
Yeah, that's real. What about you?
I would say for me, I had to really create my own stability because I lost my job back in March, and then, you know, from that point forward, I just kind of had a lot more time to myself and for my art and everything, but in order for me to create, I kind of had to create these routines and spaces for myself, and braces helped me with routine of brushing my teeth every 5 minutes. But all of that was super helpful because before, I mean, I wasn't really good at routines. I wasn't good at waking up in the morning, you know. And when you don't have that, when your time is so open, you can kind of feel like you're flailing and you don't know what your purpose is or whatever. So, you know, getting house plants, getting a routine, filling up our fridge with stuff that we can eat instead of eating out all the time, and just like really allowing your home to be all the things that you need it to be, whether it be a relaxing space, a creating space. And really just creating that stability has helped me because, you know, I'm not a stable person.
What about you, Bebe?
Man, shoot. Like you were saying, it's hard, you know, when you get in that rut, you
Yeah.
know, for a couple of days and stuff like that. It's like, man, I made this whack-ass beat. What's wrong with me and stuff like that. And so I'm like, no, let me just go listen to like some old songs. And I'm like, oh, these are really trash. And like, what you just did yesterday was good. So it's like, oh, no, you're good. You got it. You just got to, you know, keep that confidence up when it comes to like your artistry, because you can get really down on yourself. And that was like, man, sometimes it's hard to be inspired, but it's like you have to inspire yourself, you know. It's like nobody's gonna do that for you.
Yes.
That's real. That's real. And as an artist, like, you need inspiration,
No,
right? You
feed
can't
on
always
it.
force it, but you do need to understand like how to access it.
Yes.
You know, like even when it doesn't necessarily feel like you're in the mood to do it, but you know, there is a deadline, so it's
Yeah.
got to get done. That's so
Yeah.
real. What gives you hope in these strange times?
I'm not gonna lie, all the quarantine babies are like, that's, I'm like, oh, you had a quarantine baby, yay! Come here. Because what else are you gonna do? I mean,
that's true.
You ain't got nothing but time,
Yeah.
especially with your husband or wife.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I love it. Love
that
the
is
babies.
beautiful. The babies, we love the babies. What about you? What gives you hope?
Yeah, I would say kind of also just like the younger generations too, you know. I mean, I feel like a lot of the younger kids that are in high school and stuff, they're learning a lot of resilience too with schools not, you know, going in and out. So, but yeah, it's kind of like the youth, but also the creative community for sure, because I think, I don't know how y'all felt, but I felt kind of nervous of just like, what's going to happen to all of us, you know? And there were a good portion that I think felt really like dreams were crushed a little bit, you know, like, or whatever, you know, all the hustle that they were trying to do is for nothing now or whatever. So it's been really cool to see how the creative community in both music and comedy has persevered, and how they're trying to work around and with COVID, because I think that is like the biggest thing, where it's like, instead of trying to push it away, if we work with it and can, you know, just work together, then that's how we can move forward through this.
That's so true. For me, I think the fact, this is cliche, but like the fact that we do have hope, you know, as individuals, and like as soon as this happened, you know, everyone had to adapt.
Yeah.
Like we had no choice, right? Like places were shut down, work was different, and all of a sudden, but I think that everyone still, saw that hope. Like, even at the beginning of quarantine, where it was so uncertain of like, okay, what is this going to happen? How deadly is this virus? Everyone was still optimistic, about it. Like, everyone was like, man, like, these are some hard times, but like the hope that people had just seeing that was so fulfilling. And I think that's what makes us great as humans, because we, even in the hardest times, we do still have that like little bit of hope that like we'll get through this, like it's going to get better, and we don't give up. So I think just seeing that, in people and giving or like sharing hope with other people as well that, might need that little encouragement. I think I'm super grateful, and that's what gives me hope, is that we do have hope, and we don't give up, and we persevere, and we adapt, and we're resilient. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. All right, I mean, we can end it there. Thank you all. Thank you so much for holding space and just kind of having this conversation.
You say we're forever, but you know that is a lie. Baby, you say I'm too clever, and I know you're